Yo guys, what is up and welcome back to a brand new video here today and another episode of my MotoGP 20 career mode here today. This is the Dutch TT of Assen, round number 8 I believe of the season. But first of all guys, if you have missed the last episode at Germany, go watch it because it was an insane race. All 22 riders crashed out of the race. It was really weird. Check it out, link in the top right hand corner of your screen guys to go see what happened in one of the strangest things I've ever seen in any video game, period. But without further ado, let's jump into the career mode menu. Here we are then on the career mode screen, and as you can see, we are going to jump into the race weekend here at Assen. The gap in the championship to Marquez has gone up now to 33 points, and also in terms of R&D, you can see in the bottom right, we are 2 weeks away from upgrades on the engine, aero, and electronics. But for now, we're going to jump into this weekend at Assen, my favourite track on the calendar. Let's see how the Aprilia handles around then. Hopefully, it's a good weekend for us once again. Right, so we are currently in FP1 and it's actually raining in this session. It's also going to be raining in FP2 and FP3. So FP4 could be the decisive session in terms of the combined lap times. So what we will do is we will set a couple of laps in FP1 in the wet conditions to see how the bike handles. But the next thing you guys will see will probably be FP4 unless something happens in this session. But yeah, let's jump into it and let's see how the bike feels around here. Okay, so at the end of FP1, we set a lap good enough for P6. Marquez currently quickest with a 35.5. That is in the wet conditions. We're now going to skip on to FP4 in the dry and see what the combined lap times are. Right, so FP4 is a dry session, therefore we are going to get underway with the tests. First of all, the development test, so we're going to strap on the recommended tyres and we're going to do a couple of laps on this one. We're then going to go on to the quick lap simulation, and I think for that this weekend, I think we'll do those two mainly, and then we'll do a couple of laps on race sim, but not the entire 5. So let's jump into distance analysis and let's see how the bike feels. Right, end of lap 1. I feel like it's been a pretty good lap actually. Got the final chicane to tackle. Just got to make sure we hit it nicely. There's the flick over, a little bit scruffy, but I think we'll be okay to hit the threshold. No, not quite. We're about 6/10 off, so we are going to fail this program. We'll go for a second lap, and I say that I've completely messed it up. So there we go, made a mistake at turn 1. That's going to be the end of that practice program. We'll move into the quick lap sim and try and improve on that one. So let's see how that works out for us. This has been a pretty good lap, to be fair. I'm happy with this. Marquez currently quickest with a 30.1. As we go towards the end of the lap now, 7/10 up on that, so we are on target to hit the threshold if we keep up with this kind of pace. Bit wide there, pushing a bit too much as we go into the chicane. There's a bit of time to find, but we run it in a bit hot. That might just affect us and ruin the lap. Yes, it does. We miss out. We go P1, but we're still 6/10 off. The threshold seems very high around this track, very aggressive in terms of lap time, which is something we can't quite hit with this bike at the minute, it feels like. This is a better lap, much more pace on this one. Will it be enough? I'm not sure. But 2 turns up, we have been the entire 3 sectors so far. This time keeping it much tidier through there. As we go into the final chicane. Trying to go down the inside of Alex Marquez. That was a little bit better actually, but I still don't think it'll be enough up to the line. No, it isn't. This track is really hard, man, in terms of beating the threshold. Right, so here we are then at the end of practice 4, and actually, to be fair, very surprisingly, the AI seem to have good pace around here, at least in practice anyway. The good news is that we have done enough in the dry conditions to get straight into Q2, so let's jump into it and let's see what the session is going to be like around here at Assen. Right, so for the first time this season, I've got to tackle Q1. I'm not quite sure why, because you guys saw on screen a moment ago, I got second place in FP4, and that was the only dry session of the weekend so far. So I don't know where the hell these guys have pulled the lap time from or where it's happened. But in FP4 we got P2. I'm not sure why it's enough, so we're going to have to tackle Q1 and make our way through into Q2, which is very surprising. Well, in a very surprising turn of events, we're not actually going quickest in Q1. It seems like the AI are pretty fast. They really are around here. I'm still not sure why I'm in this session when, like I said, we've got P2 and FP4, but it is where it is. We're currently on for a fastest lap though as we make our way through the final chicane. Let's see what this lap is. We'll go for a second one as always. There we go. We find half a second in the final sector, and that is more like it. I think we'll be okay now, but we'll go for one more lap and see how we get on. Although I've made a bit of a hash of turn 1 in fairness. I've took a very shallow line through there. Right, this is a better lap. 4 turns up now as we make our way through the long left of the Ram's Hook into the final chicane. Easy does it. stand up the bike. That's much better on the direction change. A little bit of a wheelie, but up to the line. And there we go. We improved by another 4.5 tenths. That's going to be good enough now to get us into Q2. So we'll go back to the pit lane and save everything for the second part of qualifying. Well, there we have it then. No more surprises. And we do get P1 in Q1 with Franco Morbidelli. We both go through and advance into the second part of qualifying. And yeah, pretty comfortable in the end. 8 tenths of a second and a 128.5. So good pace from us. Now let's try and match that in Q2, or maybe we can try and go a little bit quicker in the final part of qualifying. Got the line a bit wrong through there. That's going to cost me some time. We can hopefully find that in the next lap. But sector 1 was perfect. So I think we're still on for a decent lap here. Oof, on the limit there, a little bit wide. As we make our way through the final few corners now into the Ram's Hook. And now the final chicane is all we have left. Trying to swing the bike in. Stand the bike up, there we go, that's a beautiful final chicane. Up to the line. And the first lap is a 28.6, so 1 tenth off our Q1 time. That's not bad at all. We are going to run it in a bit hot into turn 1, but we managed to just hold on to the bike. Let's see what we can do on lap number 2. That's where our best lap happened in Q1. It's been a perfect lap so far. Correcting the mistakes from the last lap. Into the final chicane, a little bit hot on the brakes. We do just push a bit too much. It's going to cost us a little bit of time, but the lap was perfect up until that point. It is a 28.4, so we do still improve, but we can do better than that. We threw away 2 tenths in the final sector, possibly more. Let's pit for fresh tyres and some more fuel. Oh, damn it. That's not good. That's a big crash. Damage is moderate. That's not good. That's going to put an end to our session. Now damage is critical. That's it. We're done. Because the repairs are going to set us back. That's a disaster for us. Worst case scenario. Bike is mashed up. So that's going to be the end of our quality session here today. Let's hope the lap we set was enough. There we go then, the lap luckily for us was enough, and actually we have a inverted commas tie for second place. Rins with a 6.71 and Marcus with a 6.72, but on the timer it says plus 204 for both of them, so I'm not quite sure what that's all about. Either way, Rins second, Marquez in third. We secure yet another pole position in this career mode, and it's been a very, very strong weekend so far. Like I said, I'm not sure why I was in Q1, but I was, so I had to kind of navigate that and get through it. Dovi P4, Miller P5, Catorado P6 with Rossi 7th and Crutchlow 8th, and Petrucci rounds off the top 9. But that is your grid here at Assen. We're now going to move into the race. There is Alex Rins, who is of course P2 alongside us on the front row here today, and alongside him of course my title rival Marc Marquez on the Repsol Honda. There he is. He's going to be hoping to pick up a win here today. He needs a win, to be honest, to kind of, bounce back in that championship. So far this season, it's either me or Marquez, I believe, who have won every single race. So it's been very dominant from both of us, and that's why we are first and second in the championship. But yeah, Marquez needs to win this. Hopefully we can, though, secure the win and the big 25 points. In terms of this race, though, let's get ready. And we are going to select the tyres first of all. So for this one, you can go quite soft on the tyre. We are going to go for soft front, medium rear. That's a pretty safe bet in my opinion, and we shouldn't have any issues with that. And fuel-wise, we are going to run 14 laps instead of 13, so a little bit more than usual, just to make sure that we have enough and we can run engine power mode 2 if necessary. But without further ado, let's get racing here at Assen, and hopefully we can pick up yet another race win. Right, here it is then. 5 lights are on. First get selected. Lights out and away we go. Doesn't look like a bad start from us, to be fair. Quite happy with that. Down to turn 1 we go. Where do we brake? Who knows? Marquez down the inside. Into the first corner. There's contact. We get pushed wide by a Pramac. I think that may have been Miller. Oh no, it's actually Dovi on the Works Ducati. So we're down to P4 now, which is not a good start for us as a Quadrado. They're looking for a move on the Petronas Yamaha. We are going to just about hold it on the outside into Struben. Quadrado hits the back of us there. That was risky, but luckily we didn't go down. But we have lost 3 places off the line due to contact at turn 1 with Dovi, the man in front of us. So it's not how I wanted to start, but we'll try and make it work. Dovi with his Ducati using the straight line speed of that bike to get past Rins and move up to P2. Let's try and follow him through and get past Rins if we can, who has also lost a couple of places off the line. We almost have contact with Crutchlow there, who tries to sweep on the inside but doesn't quite pull it off. Valentino Rossi down in P16 actually. He's had a pretty poor start to this race, as this is one pretty good now. The final part of the lap where all the high speed is, we seem to be quite quick around there. Tucking in behind Rins, looking for a move. Let's see if we can pass him. Marquez already checking out at the front. This is bad news for us. Good exit out of there. Let's try and get Rins. A little bit of a lift. Normally I'm flat through there, but side by side with the Suzuki. We're going to go on the outside and then inside into the Rams hook. Rins is there, but we are going to have the better line. Rins actually goes off the track, I believe. The AI not very good at holding it on the outside in this game, I've noticed. So we move up to P3. We're now behind Dovi. And you can bet we're going to get the elbows out after what he's done to us on lap 1. So let's try and get him as we dip a wheel in the grass there. And might just allow Crutchlow to have a look into turn 1. We'll cover it off, but Crutchlow still goes for it. And that was an interesting line through there from Cal Crutchlow. I'd be shocked if we didn't get some kind of penalty for that. But we moved back down to P4 due to an interesting overtake there from Crutchlow. It's good to see though. It seems like the AI genuinely have better pace around here for once, which has been very good. I don't mind competition, especially because we shouldn't be winning on this Aprilia. You know, we have been, and you know, I want to win for the sake of the championship, but realistically we shouldn't be picking up wins with this bike. We're going to go up to power mode 2 though. Use a bit of that engine power to try and close in on Crutchlow. Here we go. Approaching the Rams hook. If we can get a nice run, maybe we can get a run into the final chicane, but I'll make a bit of a mess of that to be fair. Crutchlow doesn't get it too good himself either. As we go into the chicane, carrying the speed, we get a time penalty. Wow, that's a bit harsh. 2/10. That wasn't even that bad of a cut. I hope Crutchlow did get a penalty for that turn 1 cut, because if I'm getting 2/10 for that, Crutchlow should be getting a hell of a lot more. We've run that in a bit hot. That we'll get it slowed down though, but at the minute I'm struggling to close up on Crutchlow here. Crutchlow's got good pace. He's closing up to Dovi, and we're following Crutchlow here, so this could open up quite nicely. Power mode 2, this is our strong point. We're going to try and use that again. I need to just get the line right through the Rams hook, and we'll be okay. Keep it in 5th this time. I'm not going to go into 4th. That worked out okay for us. Into the final chicane, I had a little look, but we'll hang back for now. On the flick over. Up to power mode 2, there we go. Nice move there. We're going to get the run on the inside as we set a new fastest lap down the inside of Crutchlow into turn 1. That's what I'm talking about, and that is how you make the move. Beautiful overtake there on Crutchlow. No corner cutting, keeping it very clean, very professional, very realistic, which is something I try to do with my overtakes. Very happy with that one. Now we're closing in on Dovi here. If I can nail the Struben hairpin, it is a Ducati, but we could potentially get a run on the back straight here. That's not bad, but not great. I've had better. Dovi's going to pull away. You can see on the Ducati on the straight, it just walks away from us. But then this is where I start to catch now, this kind of fast flowing corners. This is where I'm really good on this bike, as both the Spargo brothers are battling there for P17. I'm going to keep it in 3rd through here. That's working better for me. I tried that last lap and it gave me a chunk of time. We've actually dropped Crutchlow, to be fair. Crutchlow hasn't kept up, so I wonder if he maybe went a bit wide at turn 1 when I got past. Dovi having a bit of a look behind there. Cheeky there from the Italian rider. Let's see if we can find a way past it as we go through the final right-hander before we kick out onto the back straight. Power mode 2 once again. Didn't quite get the line right. I had to lift a little bit through there, but we're still closing up on Dovi as we go into Rams hook. Going to dip into 4th gear this time. I really want to make a move into the final chicane, but we can't quite get the run. We do just tap Dovi ever so slightly there. Just puts me off balance a little bit, so we have to hang back for now. But we are closing in on the Italian rider here. Pretty close this time actually, onto the back straight. We have got a good slipstream. We're much closer than we have been, so we'll benefit from that toe beautifully. Dovi still pulled away, but we're just generally closer going into this section, which is good. One of us can maybe size up a move. We do want it a bit wide there. That's not going to help. Have to dip into 2nd gear to get some extra rotation, as Terrell Limitless would say. I'm feeling that this lap could be the lap. If we can get close through here. Last lap we ran a bit wide onto the curb. If I can just keep it off the curb, that's better. Easy. Now we floor it. If I can keep it flat now through this right-hander, we're going to get a great run on Dovi. Bit wide there, but we are on the back of him. On the outside. As we're going to Ram's hook. Dovi stays in front for now, but we've had a great run. Down the inside we go into the final chicane. I've been wanting that move for ages and we achieve it. It's a brilliant overtake on Dovi from absolutely miles back. And we move up to P2. Can we stay there now, or will Dovi try and repass straight away? We try to get down to the apex, which we do, and we stay in front. There we go, job done. Right, halfway distance, we're up to P2 now. Marquez has got a considerable gap out front. And we'll see if we can catch him. My tyres are starting to go a little bit, especially on the rear. And that's a medium rear, so very surprising. Just realised my time penalty is going up to 4/10. Not sure where the hell that happened. Might have just been a moment ago when I ran over the curb. That's all I can think of, but that's harsh. Again, I don't get why that's happened. 4/10 is risky. We need to try and pull away from Dovi now. At this point, we might have to surrender the win and just accept P2. At the minute, I can't shake off Dovi. He's staying with me, and he's within the 4/10 of a second window. And 3-fair Crutchlow is reconnected. He's back on the back of Dovi now, so I've got to try and find pace from somewhere. But my tyres are starting to go a little bit, and we've still got quite a few laps to go. So I've got to try and smooth out my running style a little bit and hook up a couple of laps just to open up a gap a little bit. Good lap from us there. That's exactly what we needed as we start to pull away now from the bikes behind, and that's a really good fastest lap. We're not going to catch Marquez now. Also, fuel's quite marginal, but we can just secure the second place because of the time penalty. That's what we can do. Marquez is so quick. I'm not making any dent into the gap. It's just staying at around 3 seconds. I've had another good lap here, but the mid-29s are just not there. The gap is now actually above 3 seconds. Normally it was like 2.9, but Marquez is still pushing on. Some races he struggled, like Mugello. He had good pace at the start, but then his tyres went and we managed to grab him and actually pass him on the last lap, but not this time. I think he's learnt his lesson. He's looking supreme out there today. 29.1, last push from me. Gap is still only 2.8. It took me a fastest lap to only take 2/10 out of Marquez's lead. Marquez just dropping off the pace that lap. Got down to 2.4, and that was a 10th off my personal best. So it wasn't even a special lap. I've messed up turn 1, but I don't think we've got enough laps left to catch him. But it does look like he might be struggling on tyres now. Here we go then, onto the back straight for the final time here today. Bike wobbling all over the place as we just like keep it out of the gravel there. That would have been pretty nasty. Starting to struggle on my own tyres now as the gap is still 2.5, so even on a scruffy lap, Marquez wasn't that quick again. So the last 2 laps he did drop away, but not enough. As we go into the chicane for the final time here today. It's been a good race though. I've enjoyed it, good fun. And there's some nice overtakes. But there we go, Marquez wins and we come home P2 here today at Assen. But with that being said, as you can see on screen, it's not going to make a difference in terms of the penalty, luckily for us, so we do still hold on to our second place finish. Dovi rounds off the podium and a much needed boost for the Ducati team, who have been really struggling this season. And that is your top 3. We then move to Crutchlow P4 ahead of Rins with Vinales, the lead Yamaha P6, and this is a Yamaha track historically, and there's only two Yamahas in the top 9, with Miller 7th, Petrucci 8th, Quartararo P9, and Morbidelli rounding up the top 10. Alex Marquez 11th with Mir 12th, Rossi 13th in the end. I believe he may have had a crash at the start because he was quite far down. And then Zarco P14 with Nakagami running up the points. We then move into the Riders' Championship and we are 28 points clear of Marc Marquez going into the next race. 79 points clear of Dovi and over 100 points clear of Rins, Rossi and co. As it's looking pretty damn good in that championship side of things. In terms of the team championship, we dropped down to 3rd place as Ducati re-overtake us for 2nd place. Petrucci and Dovi scoring a big handful of points here today, and Repsol Honda extend their lead at the top of the table. Finally, we have the Constructors' Championship, and we still lead, but only by 7 points now over Honda as they close down the gap at the top of the table. But guys, that's going to be it from me here today at Assen and the Dutch TT. If you guys enjoyed it, then drop a like on the video and subscribe if you are new for daily Formula 1 and MotoGP content on the channel. Also, click the bell icon, guys, to be notified whenever I do post any new content on the channel. And finally, check out the 2 videos on your screen if you have missed them. But that is it from me here today, and I'll see you all next time in the next episode.